Hey everybody, this is a clip from the latest episode of the Randi.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Today, with the Justice and Policing Act, the Congress is standing with those fighting for justice and taking action. Let us, my colleagues, just go over some of those names of martyrdom. George Floyd, Jackson Davis, Oscar Grant. So sad. Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Botham Jean, Terrence Crutcher, Philandro Castle, Freddie Gray, Walter Scott, Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin. My colleagues, any other names you want to add?
Sean Bell.
Thank you. We cannot settle for anything less than transformative structural change, which is why the Justice in Policing Act will remove barriers to prosecuting police misconduct and covering damages by addressing the quality immunity doctrine. It will demilitarize the police by limiting the transfer of military weaponry to state and local police departments. It will combat police brutality by requiring body and dashboard cameras, banning chokeholds, no-knock warrants in drug cases, and end racial profiling. Will finally make lynching, Mr. Hoyer, a federal hate crime. And I support Chairwoman Bass and Representative Bobby Smith and our two distinguished senators, Harris and Booker, and others, for their work in helping to pass H.R. 35 this year. Police brutality is heartbreaking reflection of an entrenched system of racial injustice in America. True justice can only be achieved with full, comprehensive action. That's what we are doing today. This is a first step. There is more to come.
Oh, you know, some people look at a situation and they say, oh, well. Other people look at a situation and they throw hand grenades at it, or they pour gasoline on it because they like the chaos, you know. And other people look at it and say, I got to fix this. And so that is the difference between the dying, almost defunct Republican Party. You know, last year I looked at how many people still identified themselves as Republicans, and it was down to 28% of the United States. Then it went down to 25%. And now we have even less than that identifying themselves as Republicans. People don't like this damaged brand. They don't want to be part of the problem. They don't want to be part of the death cult. They don't want to be part of an unjust system. They don't want to be part of mass incarceration for nonviolent drug crimes. They don't want to be part of police brutality. They don't want to be part of redistribution of wealth from middle-class, hardworking families to the very privileged, the very elite who can afford lobbyists and lawyers and a seat at the table. You know, people are growing very, very tired of this chaos and this out of control United States of America that everyone can plainly see. The whole world is reacting to it. The whole world is standing up for our civil rights. They're standing up for police brutality. They're standing up for a justice system that makes sense. They're standing up for reforms in their countries, in our countries, all over the world. All over the world. And it's not because of one thing. It's not because of one man. It's not because of one sentence. It's not because of one individual or even a group of people. It's because in our heart of hearts, we know it's just plain broken. You want to see how broken it is? Okay, you remember this? Do you remember this video from Friday? This is the 75-year-old man in Buffalo. He didn't do anything. This was curfew enforcement, by the way. This was the enforcement of a curfew. They had had peaceful protests all day long in Buffalo. And then this curfew came into effect, and the police decided they had to break some. Look, there he is from the other angle. They had to break ahead to enforce a ridiculous curfew. Now, here is this special team. This is a special ops team. And nobody is rushing to help this man who is 75 years old, right? No one is rushing to help him. People are saying he needs medical attention.
He's unconscious.
He's unconscious. You're making it worse. Come on, man. You got linebackers knocking an old guy over. Okay. Want to know how broken policing is? 57 members of that particular emergency response team, as if we needed an emergency response team to enforce a ridiculous curfew after an entire day of peaceful protesting with no incidents. Okay? The entire 57-member emergency response team resigned to support the two officers who were charged with knocking this 75-year-old man over. The entire emergency response team resigned from this squad in protest of their colleagues' suspension for knocking down a 75-year-old man and giving him a brain injury. That's how broken policing is.
Did you see, Randy? A couple of the officers went to help him, and I'm assuming what was a commander shouting, "Hold the line," just in case they had any morality pop up. No, hold the line, stay where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, you keep hearing most police officers. Yeah, well, whoever's leading them or whoever is ordering them or whoever called for an emergency response team to enforce a freaking curfew in Buffalo, New York after an entire day of peaceful protests, there is your problem. 57 of them resigned in disgust because of the treatment, not of the old man, but of the two members, because they said they were simply executing orders. And the orders apparently were knock down a peaceful 75-year-old man. The man is in stable but serious condition. He has a name. His name is Martin Gugino. He's 75 years old. He is part of the Sustainable Housing People United for Sustainable Housing in Buffalo. He's part of that group. And he is the danger to society. He is. And those 57 are... Now, you're going to have to do some real hard selling to me to tell me that those police resigned in protest because two of the members that pushed him down and walked over him, leaving him in stable but serious condition with a serious head injury. Something that sickened most people who saw it. Something that sickened 54 million people who saw it, but they resigned in unity